Welcome to another edition of Brownie Bites here on YouTube. I'm Daryl Ryder coming to you from Cross Country Mortgage Campus in Berea. Wednesday night, the Browns dealt cornerback Greg Newsome to Jacksonville for cornerback Tyson Campbell. Newsome was in the final year of his contract, while Campbell is signed through 2028. Cleveland also sent Philadelphia's 2026 seventh-round pick. They got back the Jets' 2026 sixth-rounder from the Jaguars. Campbell is expected to start Sunday in Pittsburgh against the Steelers.
Just put boots on the ground. Yeah, he's a veteran player. We've got players ready in less time than that. We're really going to miss Greg. Such a good guy. You guys know him. Great locker room guy, great worker, great pro, productive player, always a positive attitude, brought a lot of energy. So we're certainly going to miss him. So our excitement of Tyson doesn't diminish. It in no way diminishes, what we felt about Greg. But Tyson's got size. He's got excellent straight line speed, timed well, and he has track experience. I mean, the guy's a former 100-meter and 200-meter state champ in the state of Florida, which will get your attention. He's a physical player. He's a good tackler. I'd have to say he probably wasn't a great fit for their scheme change. And he's probably, a little bit more of a scheme fit for us. He's a good press cover guy, challenges guys on the outside part of the field. Anytime you get a change in head coach, defense coordinator, GM, sometimes the decisions and things that they liked about a player's skill set in the previous regime might not fit, and I think it was that opportunity here. I can't speak for AB or Kevin. I know I'm up here, but they can go into the rational. We're excited about having a good player and a guy that's been productive in the NFL, and we'll try to get him up as quick as we can. I mean, timing probably isn't ideal, but that's just the way things are. No different than an injury. I mean, a lot of times you get your first practice of the week, and maybe you lose a guy on Wednesday, and you got to shift gears, and you got to get somebody maybe you weren't ready to play with, or in the game plan ready to play. So, whether it's a situation like this or an injury situation or anything else, I mean, that's just what our job is, and we'll do the best we can as quickly as we can. I'm optimistic.
The second trade in as many days was another surprise within the locker room as the Browns prepare for Aaron Rodgers and the first place Steelers.
He was great for all the rookies. I think he was always a huge supporter and always there to help, and so really happy for him and happy for the guy we're bringing in. I think it's just going to be another thing of making sure on my part the communication's there and be able to get everything across. Yeah, it'll definitely be a cool experience, but I think for me, once the game starts, it's just football again. So I don't really think too much into that, especially once I'm on the field.
Yeah, he's one of the great quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. There's a lot of unique things. I mentioned the hard count. He was one of the OGs. Hard count. Everybody used to try to hard count to get guys off sides to get 5 yards, and he was one of the first ones to build in, taking deep shots off of it. And we really got to be hyper alert for that and trying to sub and catching 12 guys on the field, because he's going downtown with those things and has made a lot of plays over the course of his career doing that. So, up front, we can't put stress on our secondary, just giving him free shots with deep passes by being off sides. So that's been a big point of emphasis for what he does. And he's got great arm talent, but it doesn't always look the way that, other people. There's, classic throwers and things like that. He's just got such a loose arm. He can throw from 6 million different angles. He's extremely accurate. He's been an outstanding quarterback, been a Super Bowl winner. We certainly have a lot of respect for him, and we're going to have to play our best. He's putting the ball in positions that his guys can make plays, right? So you're a point guard, and you're getting the guys the ball, and they're open, and they're hitting layups, and they're wide open jumpers and things like that. Well, that's the way he's playing quarterback. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 70% of their passing yards is run after the catch. And it's like, that's a ridiculously high number.
Left guard Joel Bitonio has pretty much seen it all over the years with the Browns.
I was shocked. I was actually with my youngest daughter at home, and I was kind of like scrolling Instagram, and I was like, "Is this a fake account?" You know, like I saw an NFL post, and then saw it. I reached out to him. I think everybody was a little bit shocked. He's like just such a vet, such a leader. Obviously, we wanted to give him the reins this year and try and give him a chance to rekindle some magic from 2023. But then you kind of look deeper into the picture, it's unfortunate part of the business, and I think we want to try and see what our young quarterbacks have, and he was, probably a good backup to have, but in the grand scheme of things, they were probably ready to give the young guys a chance, and they got a draft pick, so that's their mindset, I think. But we were a little bit shocked, but you sit back and you kind of look at a big picture, and you're like, all right, he has a chance to play now and go do his thing. That was late too last night. I had got a text from somebody else saying we traded Greg, and I wasn't sure. Obviously he's been here for 5 years, done a lot for our team, was playing really well this year. And just a great personality, just a guy that you like having around. Coach Fancy told us this morning, he just said we traded him for another corner that we believe is a good corner in this league, and so at this point they think they're trading a starter for a starter, and they maybe fits better in our scheme and stuff. But anytime you lose guys in this league, you realize the business of it. And we'll kind of see how it goes from there. I think so. I don't think so. I think if you look at those situations, playing like we traded a player for a player at the same position, and we traded our quarterback that was a starter, who is now going to be back, and we have a lot of young guys in that room that they probably want to see get reps. But no, I think we're focused. We have an urgency this week to try and get a win. We look at it like the NFL's most cliche thing is a game of inches, and we're a couple plays away from being 3-2, and another play away from being 1-5. Unfortunately, I think there's a good team in here, and I think the organization still feels that way. We have to find a way to get wins, to put it on the board, but I don't think anybody in this locker room is not focused on trying to win the next game.
Also, losing Joe Flacco's leadership earlier this week certainly hurts, but the focus now has to be on helping Dillon Gabriel jumpstart a Browns offense that is tied for a league-worst 14.6 points per game scoring, 27th in total offense, 26th running the football, and 24th passing it.
It's all of us in the quarterback room pulling together and making sure that we support one another. I think Dillon does have an innate ability to kind of touch the other positions. I think he did a nice job of that during the game and during the prep. He's got that confidence to him. So definitely with the other position groups, you can feel that from him, feel him kind of stepping into his own and being comfortable doing so. Look, when you're a quarterback like that, you've done that your whole life. That's just what's natural for you. It doesn't matter if you're playing Pop Warner or playing now, that's what comes easy for you. So sometimes you just need the platform for that to come out, and it feels like, Dillon's, really comfortable in his own skin and comfortable in that role. Yeah, it's the tough part about the business, I think. You build relationships with guys, and I was very fortunate to be with Joe and have that experience, and we really got along well and saw the game, I think, in a similar fashion. So I'm happy for him, as on a personal note. But obviously that's the tough part of the business, is seeing players leave. So
where Shedeur Sanders fits on the new depth chart remains unknown. The 5th-round pick revealed little on Thursday about his role this Sunday.
We're going to make sure we do everything we can to make sure Dillon ready for the game. So, whatever that means. So each and every day, even when Joe was the starter, everything, prepare the right way and be ready to know that you could get out there at any point in time. So, I'm overly confident within myself. So I know when I first got here, I'm ready to play. But, it's up to the coaches, and, whatever decision, they make, then I'm fine with. You tend to get a little bit more excited, when you see a light at the end of the tunnel, for sure. So my job at first was, to prepare the defense, and I think I did a pretty good job. But they got Myles Garrett and everybody over there, so, But anyways, I think I did a pretty good job, and whatever my role is here, I'm thankful and I'm happy just to do that. I can't say one valuable thing, because it's a lot of different lessons I learned just being here, each and every day. It's a lot of different things I learned not being on the field, that I'm thankful for, and I honestly am happy that I'm able to figure out all this different stuff about myself. I'm able to view a lot of things in this world differently. I'm able to value smaller things, you know, like a little bit more. We're just teammates, relationships, everybody. I know everybody, all y'all got a job, you know, and, you know, whatever is good, and whatever bad comes with it, bad will come with it. So I'm just thankful that, you know, we get up and be able to have our something that we do that we love every day.
I think, you know, for Shedeur, we're looking for constant improvement throughout the season, and he's done that. I mean, I think you see the growth and the familiarity of the offense and what we're asking of those guys. You know, I think the level of preparation it takes week to week, you know, when you're putting a new game plan together, you know, that's a learning curve for all rookies. So I think he's gotten more used to that, gotten up to speed, doing a nice job in his preparation and understanding what the game plan holds. And then when he's had his opportunities to go operate it, he's done a nice job. So, again, all of our rookies, we're playing a lot of them, right? We're trying to continue on them on an upward trend and see how much they can handle and how to improve them. And, you know, he fits in with the rest of the group that way.
Sanders also made it a point to keep the narrative positive when it comes to criticism he's received from the likes of Rex Ryan and others recently.
I understand a little bit more, you know, how to handle like different situations, you know, and being the leader and understanding that you can't really give any. I don't know, my personality, I'm playful, you know what I mean? So I guess not everybody likes playful all the time. So it's to understand how to be, you know, at all times and, you know, keep my personality a little bit slimmer, I guess. Because not everybody understands it at all times, and you may not have a full time to be able to explain things. You just trying to start something. You feel me? We not on no negativity from now on, man. We not doing that. I'm just here to be positive, and I don't speak on anything negative, you know, so. That's the new wave. That's what we going forward with. Anything negative, we not talking about it. We not speaking on it.
Health-wise on the field, things looking okay. Shelby Harris back to practice while safety DeMonte Casey was absent due to an illness. That'll do it for this edition of Brownie Bites. Once again, thanks as always for watching us here on YouTube. And remember to subscribe to the 92.3 The Fan channel. In Berea with the Browns, I'm Darrell Ryder for Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.